Hey, it's Piper, and today we're going to be making Hawk's armor breastplate from Realms Apart. If you don't know, Realms Apart is a D&D storytelling podcast with me and my friends. We all got together and decided, let's play D&D. Oh, wait, let's record our D&D sessions. And that's what we did. It's a fantastic story. We have a semi-animated version over on YouTube, Realms Apart. youtube.com/Realms Apart. And then we have our live viewings, which is every other week over on the Scabby Rooster Twitch channel. We are also over on Spotify. So you can listen to us in any way you want via verbiage, watching us play live, or watching a semi-animated version. And it's doing pretty well right now, so I would definitely jump on that. You can follow us on all social media. But this is how I made Hawk's armor breastplate for my friend Mike. Mike plays Hawk in Realms Apart. You can follow Mike at Mike, I guess, on most things. And I play Juniper Creed on Realms Apart. But let's get into the video and I'll show you how I made Hawk's armor. First, what I did was I got Mike's measurements and then sketched out how I wanted this to look as close to Hawk's armor as possible. And then I went ahead and purchased one of Kamuicosplay's armor breastplate patterns. This is a great way to support other cosplayers in your community, you know, and I look up to Kamui, so I knew they were gonna have some great stuff. After I traced it onto the EVA foam, went ahead and cut it out, making sure to put my registration marks. Always remember your registration marks. And then from there, what you're going to do is you're going to take some E6000 and glue it, but you're going to add some extra glue on the outside. But first, we got to hit it with the heat gun. This kind of just melts everything together, make sure it's smooth and ready for priming later on, and make sure that we have no weird foam pieces, or if your edges are kind of weird, it glues it back together. So there you can see that I did that. And like I said, I put some extra E6000 on the edges so that it kind of looks like it was welded together. That's exactly what we want here. I went ahead off screen and molded Hawk's little hawk skull that sits on his shoulder with some moldable foam clay. Foam clay is just fantastic. You can see there that I did the skull. Just did it by eyesight. So it's not that perfect. And I used this Black Magic air dry foam clay. Pretty good stuff. Now what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to level this. So I'm trying to add some stability to the skull because it is made out of foam clay, so it's a little bendable. And I don't want it to bend too much. And I also want it to be able to sit onto Hawk's shoulder. So I'm just cutting some EVA pieces, shape them how I want, curve them, glue them. Heat gun and glue is what you need. I did not use any of my barge's cement for this. I just went ahead and used E6000 for everything and marked my EVA foam with markers and cut it out. You can see me using the heat gun. And once you use the heat gun, you can just mold it with your hands. It's pretty easy. And you can see here, I'm just trying to see if it will fit with the skull or how many more pieces I need, because again, I need it to be able to fit onto Hawk's shoulder. Don't worry about the fact that you can see it through the skull right there, because I'm actually going to be covering that eye socket with a piece of thinned 2mm foam. So no worries, you won't be able to see it through. I just take a little scrap piece of foam to smooth out the glue. And you want to wait until your glue is dry before you stick them together, because that is how it sticks. And I went ahead and I wanted to add some crackles to the foam to make it more kind of grim. So I just used my heat gun and blasted it. And you can see here, I took some quick seal and just put it onto the edges. to make it not smooth, because that's what we're going for here. We're going for welded. So I went ahead and did that and put it on the edges because, as you can see, the glue looked okay, but on some parts it just wasn't as obvious. I took the heat gun to the sides and I went ahead and bent it so that it would better form to his body and his measurements. What I did for Hawk, or Mike I should say, is that I added some extension pieces to the side. So Mike got Velcro put onto the sides of the plate with extenders. So there's 2 rectangular pieces of EVA foam with some extra Velcro on it, some strips. And from there, if Mike were to put, like, say, if Hawk had a winter outfit, he'd be able to extend the armor so that he can wear it for larger outfits other than the one that Hawk currently is wearing. And you can see me bending it and making sure that it all fits there. And it looks pretty darn good. There's that E6000 I was talking about. And some sew-on ones. But we're not going to be sewing them on, we're going to be gluing them on. The reason why I didn't get glue-on ones is, one, this is more inexpensive. It's $1 for 3 yards of Velcro, and the adhesive on the back of the glue ones just isn't going to be strong enough. So we're going to use our contact adhesive instead. And I just marked out where I wanted those Velcro strips to sit. At first I thought I was going to make way more Velcro strips, but then I decided, let's not do that. Let's just do 2 strips per side, and then there's our extenders. I just heat those up, form those as well, and I'm going to glue, as you can see, I'm going to glue some Velcro onto those in a long strip so that it's easy to extend or make smaller. You can see me spreading out the glue now and adding it to the back. Then once I got all of that, I went and prepped and primed the paint. Now with the primer on, you can kind of see what I mean by it looks welded. That's exactly what you're wanting here. Perfect. So once that's all done and prepped and primed, I went ahead with some silver paint. This is a silver metallic paint, and I went ahead and sprayed the entire thing. And from there, I began my hand painting. So every little design you see on Hawk's armor is, as you can see, hand painted by me. I just took some acrylic paints, mixed some, did a little finessing, and painted this myself. The spray paints and primer that I like to use are Rust-Oleum brand. I do also recommend priming with maybe a Mod Podge or a PVA glue or Plasti Dip. But if you do Plasti Dip, you need to go outside for that because it is quite toxic. But Plasti Dip is fantastic for armor and pieces like that. A little bit more expensive than Mod Podge or PVA glue, but it's some very nice stuff. And in case you didn't know, there's also paints that are made, some types of acrylic paints made specifically for working with EVA foam. I do really like those and I recommend them. But all I did was stare at a picture of Hawk for a few hours and got to painting with the details. Boop. And so Hawk has a little bit of shadows on some large parts of the armor, so that's what I did there. And again, you can see I'm using a little towel to help brush it along so that it's not as vibrant. And boom, you have Hawk's armor. Doesn't Mike look so good? Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. If you like this video, go ahead and like this video. Make sure you're following Realms Apart on all social media. Make sure you're following me and Mike on all forums of social media. And I will talk to you all later. Bye!